everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, as we all know, the year 2023 is the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company, but it's not only just that. It's also the 70th anniversary of Walt Disney's beloved animated film, Peter Pan, based on the classic 1904 play by J.M. Barrie. And I find this fact to be pretty coincidental. Not only because Disney Plus is releasing another live-action film starring the boy who never grows up, but my friends at Musical Theater Village are performing Peter Pan again this early summer. Anyway, to this day, I consider Disney's Peter Pan a classical animated film with lovable and memorable characters, a threatening and comical villain, and timeless songs. Plus, I still think its sequel, Return to Neverland, is a decent movie, despite a few flaws. But we're not here to talk about Peter Pan today. We're going to talk about his best friend and companion, Tinkerbell. As we all know, Tink has got to be one of Disney's famous mascots next to Jiminy Cricket, and I find her to be a very sweet and lovely fairy, despite the fact that she gets hot-headed sometimes. And I think she's a pretty good summonable character in the Kingdom Hearts games. Also, I was surprised that in the manga version, Tink kissed Sora on the cheek after he saved her from Hook's lantern. Plus, believe it or not, Tinkerbell is my former Church Academy leader, Shelley Terry's favorite Disney character of all time. Also, you may remember that during 2014 and 2015, I blogged the latest two films in Tinkerbell's spin-off series from the extinct Disney Toon Studios. And to me, these two films are criminally underrated these days. However, for this episode, with this being the beginning of spring, I'm going to look back at Tinkerbell's very first solo movie and see if it still holds up today. Released to DVD and Blu-ray on October 28th, 2008, the movie is, well, Tinkerbell. Now, let's get started with the plot of the movie. Newly born fairy Tinkerbell is transported by the wind to Pixie Hollow on the island of Neverland, and she learns that, as a tinker, her job is to repair broken items. When Tink meets some new friends, Water Fairy Silvermist, Garden Fairy Rosetta, Animal Fairy Fawn, and Light Fairy Iridessa, she thinks that her talent isn't as special or as important as the other fairies' talents, and she's sad when she learns that she'll not be traveling to the mainland to help bring about spring. But when she tries to change who she is, she creates nothing but disaster. With encouragement from her friends, Tink learns that the key to solving her problems lies in her unique abilities, and she discovers that when she's true to herself, magical things can happen. So, what do I personally think of the movie? Well, to me, the plot may be a bit cliched, but this was still a magical origin story, and I enjoyed it. And to further explain why I like the movie, let's move on to Mustang notes. Now, believe it or not, this movie has been through a very difficult history behind the scenes. For you see, it went through 24 script versions and multiple directors. Planned for a release in fall 2007, the movie experienced delays in connection with personal changes in Disney management. According to a June 2007 article in Variety, Sharon Morrill, the head of Disney Toon direct-to-DVD division since 1994, was removed from this position due to problems with the movie, including a budget that had expanded to almost $50 million. Pixar animation executives John Lasseter and Ed Catmull were given leadership of Walt Disney Feature Animation after Disney purchased Pixar in early 2006. And although Disney Toon was not under their management, they are said to have gotten increasingly involved in the unit's operations. Lasseter reportedly said that the film was, at the time, virtually unwatchable, and that it would hurt both Walt Disney Feature Animation as well as the Disney Consumer Products line that it was meant to support. Morrell was moved to special projects, and the status of the movie was seriously in doubt. Also, Disney Observer Jim Hill reported at the time that the complications surrounding Tinkerbell had resulted in a decision that Disney would no longer produce straight-to-DVD sequels to its feature films. Thankfully, on a positive note, Bradley Raymond, who previously directed Pocahontas 2, The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, and The Lion King 1.5, came on board as Tinkerbell's director, and the film's script was written by Jeffrey M. Howard. Now, unlike Disney's two Peter Pan films, which were produced primarily using traditional animation, Tinkerbell was produced using CGI animation with help from Prana Studios, who would later help with the animation for the Planes movies and Legends of Oz Dorothy's Return. And to me, the CGI animation looks absolutely beautiful. And I think Pixie Hollow, which is located at the secret heart of Neverland, looks absolutely magical. Also, I just love the many different places of interest, like the Pixie Dust Tree, Spring Valley, and Tinker's Nook. Plus, I find it pretty interesting that all the fairies who live and work there work together in order to bring each season to the mainland, whether being a garden, water, animal, light, tinker, or fast-flying fairy. Fun fact, this franchise was inspired by a licensed product known as the Disney Fairies, where Tinkerbell was the lead character ever since 2005. This product included toys, accessories, clothing, Halloween costumes, and books. As for the movie's story, well, while the plot of a character trying to find his or her place in the world, or the idea of who you are and what you're meant to do, has been done several times, I think this movie is written pretty well. Plus, I like the fact that fairies are born when a baby laughs for the first time, as mentioned in the original Peter Pan play. And after watching this movie again, I kind of get the feeling that it might have influenced My Little Pony's winter wrap-up episode. Another thing that I like about this movie is a few of the songs. For example, there's To the Fairies They Draw Near, which is sung by Lorena McKennitt, who also serves as the movie's narrator. To me, this song is very enchanting, and I'll never forget the time when I was introduced to it while watching the film's teaser trailer on DVD. Also, I think the second version, where all the fairies bring spring to the mainland, is wonderful to listen to as well. And every time I listen to it, it makes me feel so warm inside, and it also makes me cry in happiness. Also, I think Selena Gomez's Fly to Your Heart song is equally as enchanting to listen to as well. And that's all I got for Mustang notes. So let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought him to life. Our main character, Tinkerbell, is voiced by Mae Whitman, best known as Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. She also got to be a little Patricia Whitmore in Independence Day, Shanti from The Jungle Book 2, Dharma from the first Rock Dog movie, and Yuffie from Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3. To me, as a newborn fairy in Pixie Hollow, I find Tinkerbell to be spunky, energetic, and she's fascinated by stories about the mainland, and is thus discouraged to learn that Tinkers do not go there. Therefore, she tries to learn various other skills before finally accepting, with the help of her friends, that she truly is a Tinker. Also, I like that Tink helps to repair the massive damage that she accidentally created, and afterwards, she's allowed to join the Nature Fairies on their trip, where she delivers a lost toy to a young Wendy Darling. Next we come to Tink's closest friends, Rosetta, voiced by Kristen Chenoweth, Iridessa, voiced by Raven-Symoné, Silver Mist, voiced by Lucy Liu, and Fawn, voiced by America Ferrera. To me, these fairies are great characters, and I like that they help Tink at times, like when Silver Mist tries to help her make dewdrops, Iridessa tries to help her light fireflies, and Fawn helps her to get a baby bird to fly. Plus, I think all of them have very unique and humorous personalities. Next we come to the ruler of Pixie Hollow, Queen Clarion, voiced by Angelica Houston, whom was in Captain EO, the Addams Family movies from the early 90s, Roald Dahl's The Witches from 1990, Arctic Dogs, and A Cat in Paris. What I like about Queen Clarion is she acts very motherly to all the fairies, and she's prepared to do what it takes to make sure her treasured fairies live in peace and are well out of harm's way. Also, she has the task of making sure the preparations for all the 4 seasons are done promptly with the help of the seasonal ministers. Plus, she also greets new arrivals at the pixie dust tree, helps them find their magical talents, and gives them a name reflecting their personality or talents. Next we come to Tink's first friends, Bobble and Clank, voiced by Jeff Bennett and Rob Paulson. These two are a dynamic duo of fairies who show great pride in being Tinkers, unlike Tinkerbell at first. With a brotherly relationship, they are both fairly intelligent and are also on the bumbling side. Some of their favorite activities include tinkering and, of course, magic tricks. Plus, I think their mouse assistant, Cheese, is absolutely adorable. Next is Fairy Mary, voiced by Jane Horrocks, whom was in Aardman's Chicken Run and Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. Fairy Mary is the overseer of the Tinker Fairies, who expresses high hope for Tinkerbell. Unfortunately, she's greatly disappointed to learn that Tink does not like being a tinker, but thankfully, she becomes pleased to see her accept her job and help repair the damage caused to Spring. Plus, Mary charges her with delivering the toy that she repaired after she becomes a nature fairy. Another character to talk about is Terrence, voiced by Jensen McCartney, who did the voice of Theodore in those horrible live-action Chipmunky movies. But aside from that, he also voiced Roxas and Ventus in the Kingdom Hearts game series and JoJo from Blue Sky's Horton Hears a Who. Also, believe it or not, my sister and I saw him in person singing his Leaving song when we were audience dancers on Nickelodeon's Dance on Sunset. Now, Terrence is a pixie dust keeper, and while his role in this movie is very minor, one of the most memorable scenes involving him is when he informs Tink that she should be happy with who she is, which helps her realize her own importance and that her talent is what keeps Pixie Hollow going. Oh, yeah. Almost forgot about her. This is Vidya, a fast-flying fairy voiced by Pamela Adlon, best known for voicing Pajama Sam from the Humongous Entertainment CD-ROM games, along with Lucky from the 101 Dalmatians animated series, Ashley Spinelli from the Recess series, Rosie from Sophia the First, Shinra from Final Fantasy X-2, and she was in Bumblebee, aka Nightformers. In this movie, Vidya serves as Tinkerbell's rival and the film's main antagonist. In my eyes, Vidya can be sly, moody, vindictive, and selfish, but at the same time, she does have a good heart when all is said and done. Plus, she's incredibly strong-willed and outspoken, much like Tinkerbell, which can also indicate why the two fairies clash many times. Also, she thinks she's the best fairy overall and berates anyone who thinks otherwise. One of the most memorable parts involving Vidya is when Tinkerbell asks her for help and she craftily suggests that she should capture the sprinting thistles. Thankfully, due to her part, Queen Clarion punishes Vidya by forcing her to gather all the thistles that Tinkerbell unintentionally unleashed. And now on to my final words. Overall, Tinkerbell was a magical spin-off. The story, while done many times, is well written, and I'm glad that it shows how fairies are born just like in the Peter Pan play. It has beautiful CGI animation, and I think Bradley Raymond did a pretty good job directing. Tinkerbell was a spunky main character while trying to find her place at Pixie Hollow. The supporting characters like Bobble, Clank, Rosetta, Iridessa, Silver Mist, and Fawn are friendly, memorable, and funny at times. Vidya as an antagonist was okay, though I am glad that she becomes a friend to Tink in later movies, and the musical score by Joel McNeely is sweet to listen to. So, if you viewers love Peter Pan, you should definitely give this movie a watch, especially during the beginning of the spring season. As for my rating, I'll give it an 88% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for my next blog, where we look at a film starring Disney's comical chipmunk duo, Mustang Power.